Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propagandacast. Lehr with your host, Imperial Dane. Sorry about for not having episodes up the last couple of days, but that's partly because of patches, then hotfixes, which pretty much meant I had barely any material to work with for the Propagandacast Lairs, which is rather unfortunate, but there you go. Today's topic, though, shall be the T34 85. Recently catapulted into fame, wealth, and fortune, or at least greater usage, after the latest patch, more particularly the Advanced Warfare Commander, making it rather popular since you can call it one at a time. Of course, there's still the two call-ins from either Armored Assault or Guards Motor, not bad, since you generally get them a slight discount when you call them in a pair compared to singular. But of course, the question is, what does the T34-85 get you, you wonder? What is so special about it? Well, as you might be noticing, it's got a bigger gun. Overall, it does more damage than the T34-76, about the same as a Panzer IV or the Tiger. Has better penetration than T34-76, has a nice AoE, better accuracy in that regard, you know, and better versus infantry than a Panzer IV, which also makes it quite nice and dandy in those regards. More specifically, it also has better armor. In fact, it just has enough armor, in fact, to sort of deflect shots from a Panzer IV, believe it or not. And finally, it's actually got more health than a T34-6, and in fact also than a S-35. Panzer IV and so on. In fact, it's got 800 health, which overall basically means you can take one more shot from a Stug, Panzer IV, or a Panther, or a Tiger before it goes kaboom. And all this you get at a price of only slightly higher than a Panzer IV. You actually get something that can actually take on a Panzer IV, and in slightly larger numbers can actually cause a threat to German heavy armor, if you utilize it correctly, of course. I mean, there are some that say, you know, it's not worth it. Most sensible players will say that's nonsense. It's a reasonably strong tank, in fact. But again, you know, don't expect a Panther or a Tiger. But again, expect something, you know, that can be reasonably well acquired at larger numbers. In larger numbers, at least at this sort of level. Though again, I mean, slightly expensive, but still, you can get sort of numbers of them. And that way, you know, overpower most German medium armor easily. And, you know, the heavy armor you can sort of also cause a threat for. And in particular, you have the doctrines like Guards Motor, which actually gives you marked target, which basically increases the damage done, which really can make the head of T34-85's absolute menaces. But even a single one can be quite the problem, again, partly due to its durability. And overall, in the fight between a Panzer IV and a T34-85, the T34-85, unless the Panzer IV is greatly supported, will have the advantage. So in this case, we do see Panzer IVs here going off, which overall means it does get some damage. The Panzer IV also engaging a bit better at range, and overall supported. I mean, that's generally how you'd want to take on a situation like this, you know. If you have a Panzer IV, then you need support for it to take on a T34-85. Otherwise, I mean, your Panzer IV is not going to last. And right here, of course, for once, you know, that T34-85 is going to get armed, and again, that was partly due to all those Panzer Fausts fired at it. And the Panzer IV actually engaging from farther away. But there we go. Here the Panzer IV did not stand a chance. In the end, though, the Panzer IV did the trick. But again, powerful tank, and again, relatively cheap. And also, more importantly, again, you know, you don't require tech to get it. You don't have a building for it, just 9 command points. Again, one of the reasons that can be shifted here to 9 CPs, at least as I'm speaking now, I don't know in the future, but basically because it's actually too easy to sometimes just get and ignore getting any heavy armor and basically overwhelm your opponent before he had a chance of actually getting armor, because, you know, yeah, you didn't need any of those more expensive buildings. But again, powerful tank for sort of a medium tank, again, guarding its price level. Just don't expect it to single-handedly take on a Panther or a Tiger tank, and when that's not going to happen, on the other hand, a pair of them is going to have a good chance against a Tiger or a Panther, as long as you play wisely. And I do mean wisely. Veterans opponents, of course, also apply, and of course that basically means it keeps firing faster and faster, which again means it's going to do a lot more damage than, say, a Panther. And again, a Veterans for example, a T34-85 can actually be a huge threat to even a single Panther or a Tiger, if you handle it correctly. So there are a lot of things to it. It's not quite as fast as the T34-76 though. It does also have ramming, but generally, I mean, with the T34-85 you want to be a lot more cautious with ramming, so of course it's a lot less expendable than a T34-76. Also possesses the same secure mode, and again that is always something to utilise as well if you have the opportunity. But again, its main strength are its price, compared to otherwise, good gun and good durability.
Our T34s have been outfitted with 85mm guns.
So in that regard, you get a weapon, if used correctly, can generally cause quite a fuss for your opponent. In particular with a bit of added veterancy.
Mines all set. We are losing supplies.
So those would be, the primary reasons to consider getting a T34-85. And again, depending on doctrine, I mean, again, you can get larger pairs of them and call them particularly if you're playing Advanced Warfare. And that way much more quickly accumulate them one by one. But again, not a Panther, not a Tiger. If you're expecting that, then you're playing the wrong army. Then you want to play the Germans, not the Soviets. The T-34's primary purpose is basically being more durable and, well, more damage, basically. Giving it the upper hand in the fight against most German medium armor. But again, most of the heavy stuff, it will run into some trouble. But again, that's where you then play the other card, which is again, for a weapon of this caliber, it's actually relatively cheap. And then you get a bunch of them. And then you properly support them again. And in most cases, depending on the doctrine, you usually have some extra option repairing it. Most tend to be, oh hey, self-repair, but this doctrine of course offers then contra repairs, which allows you to basically focus all units on repairing it. And of course it is going to require extra repairs because, again, it's got more health than the regular T-34-76. And generally it's not, say, a bad idea for someone to go for a mechanized armor company and then support it with some field guns and SU-5s, partly also that way, having the SU-76 guard against infantry would also soak up damage for the assault guns and tank destroyers. In that regard, that is also a little trick there to keep in mind when utilising the T-34-85. But again, overall, relatively cheap, solid, medium tank. And again, if well handled, can actually do quite a bit of damage to your opponent. But again, rule of thumb is, don't expect a Panther or Tiger. And if that's the sort of logic you're running in, and wrong army, play the Germans. Hopefully this has given you a better idea of the T-34-85. Again, it's the sort of thing that can actually cause a problem for the Germans' medium tank, because again, against a Panzer IV in a straight-up fight, it's going to, in most cases, win. The chances about that losing are probably slimmer than a Panzer IV losing to a T-34-76, which can also happen in a head-on fight, but it is considerably rarer. But this, again, even rarer than that. So, keep that in mind as well. And again, your infantry always good against infantry, can certainly cause some problems there. In particular, properly supported. And again, remember, you want numbers of them, and usually if you're not, in that case, consider having a fuel cache up to sort of help with that, so you can sort of get them out quicker, because again, for a tank of that size, yes, the fuel is a bit high, but on the other hand, the ammo is actually rather low. So again, fuel cache can sort of help, leverage that in the proper way, allowing you to get a lot of them. So, hopefully with this, again, clear idea of the T-34-85, having a better understanding of how to utilize it. Generally, again, versus Panzer IV, Stug, try to slag it out, again, with the Stug, be careful, always try to flank, of course. Otherwise, versus Panthers, versus Tigers, get more of them. If you have marked target, you start always, use your numbers, flank, hit the rear spots, and again, you do damage that way. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers, hoping you've been enlightened on the T-34-85. And its strengths and weaknesses, and of course as the Germans, you've got an idea of how to, for example, deal with it. Hoping, to see you again tomorrow, and of course also for the next Propagandacast Lehr that'll be up in 2 days. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.